San Francisco against the Rams Thursday of the open season in Australia, the day after the season opens in Australia. And here's why. I don't think the NFC West is going to have 3 playoff teams again. Just so hard. And if we think the NFC North is going to be tough again, if we think the NFC East, the Cowboys are going to be more competitive, the Giants and Command, I just don't think there's going to be room for 3 NFC West teams. I see no reason to think Seattle's going to fall off that dramatically after winning the Super Bowl. So, as much as everybody likes the Rams, the Niners, were in contention for the #1 seed to the final week of the year as well. They're getting guys back from injury. So this could be one of the bigger, playoff leverage matchups of the season, and it's on the, first Thursday of the season. So that's my matchup.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I mean, all these international games, at first I was kind of resistant to them, but now I really like them because it's sort of an extra standalone contest. I kind of enjoy the feeling. Look, I don't like waking up super early for some of those games. I like waking up because that means I'm alive, but I don't enjoy getting up extremely early to watch them, because then I have the whole day of all the other games and making videos. Still, there's something about it that feels a bit eventful. It feels intriguing. It feels different. Especially those very early morning games. If I watch them, take notes, then make a video, then we talk about it, it's going to sound cheesy, but it feels like we're having a sleepover party. Like we stayed up late or woke up early and you're with your friends watching the games. There's something about that I've grown more drawn to. And especially now with real matchups, Rams versus 49ers, right? It's not just a couple of random teams where you're like, okay, the Jags are playing whoever, and you think, does it really matter? Don't get me wrong, there are still plenty of these matchups where you're just like, okay, we'll see what the Steelers versus Saints look like, or the Bengals versus Falcons. Again, maybe those games matter, maybe they don't. I don't know. But I do know the Rams versus the 49ers is going to matter. I know that. And what Nick said here is what I've been saying, the NFL is Nelly competitive right now. Absolutely. We keep saying, oh, this division is so hard, this division is so hard. And it's like, all of these teams are going to be at the bare minimum competitive. I don't know how great the Vikings are going to be, or how great the Commanders or the Giants will be, but they're not going to be disasters. They're not going to be disasters. So these divisional games are going to matter more than they ever have at this point, just being able to win the division because the wild card race is going to be so insane. So everything feels really, really, really congested. And a game like this, Week 1 in Melbourne, that's a tough Week 1 matchup. An international division rival is going to have legitimate repercussions for your entire season. That's not easy. That is not easy at all. That is a real thing. And listen, I'm no world traveler, I've essentially been nowhere. But pretty sure Australia is far, far away. It's a long trip. It's not just going to England or London, which I think is a much easier trip, so to speak. I also think with the time zone differences and whatnot, Australia is pretty aggressive, whereas London is just a few hours or so. Feel free to correct me. So even though they're going to get there a week earlier or however they do it, it's still disruptive. People get disrupted just by daylight savings. So imagine how things like this affect you. It is a real thing. And the 49ers will also be in Mexico City, which will be only nothing for them relative to going to Melbourne, Australia. So yeah, but I'm for it. I don't know what time that game ends up being. Have they released the times? Yeah, see, this is what I was saying. The days are different because of how the time works. So the Rams will take on the 49ers on Friday, September 11th at approximately 10:35 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I don't know these things, I just know football. I barely even know that the game will air live in Los Angeles on Thursday, September 10th. So technically a different day at approximately 5:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that means it'll be what, 8:30? That's the usual, right? 8:30? 3 hours. So it's essentially the Thursday night game then, right? Yeah. See, that's a trip. That's a trip. So yeah, the NFL is not messing around right now. They're taking big swings, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I always downplay these matchups. I downplay Week 1 games. I really do. I've done that for the last couple of years. Oh, it's whatever, it's one game, blah blah blah. Oh, it's week 1, it's only week 2. But because everything is so close together, because everything is so congested, these games really matter. And it matters more to me for the 49ers than for the Rams right now, because the Rams feel they have all this momentum and that they're ready to go, ready to build off it. They took all these big swings. The 49ers obviously came up short last year. They obviously got injured, and they want to hit the ground running. They really need to re-establish the culture of who the 49ers are, which has been, we are a dominant, relentless, hyper-intelligent, hyper-focused, detail-oriented team. And because of injuries, because things have been a little to the left, a little to the right, they haven't been able to put everything together the way they did in, say, 22 or 23, right? In 24 things kind of fell apart. In 25 they had all the injuries, but they were still able to keep it together, but it wasn't quite the same, right? We know it wasn't what we saw in 22 or 23. Everyone kept saying, this is so impressive what the 49ers are doing. And it was wildly impressive, and they deserve all the credit in the world, but it wasn't quite what it had been in the past. And week 1 in Melbourne, Australia, taking down the Rams, the team everyone is saying, oh my god, this is the team to beat, that sets the tone for the culture and the mentality of the 49ers. And they need that. They have a bunch of younger guys, newer characters. This is not the same immediate core they've had for years. They've got some new faces. This is a true new season for the 49ers. So to me, a game like this matters a lot more. Beating the Rams week 1 in a place where the time is different, where it's a different calendar day, I assume for them it's going to be like playing at 10:30 in the morning. It's all going to be crazy. Coming away with a win there would be massive, massive, massive. And it would instill a lot of belief. And make no mistake, no matter how much you've accomplished, no matter how great you are, no matter what you did last year or the year before, you do need that. You still need to instill in a team, we can win this year, we can be great, we can be dominant, we can be this, we can be that. That still needs to happen. Now, I think some teams can be more resilient with that. Some teams have a little more winning equity, I guess we could say. And I just think, considering how things have been going for the 49ers, a win would be a huge boost. A huge boost. I think the Rams could stomach a loss there a little bit more. And again, to be clear, I'm not saying if the 49ers lose, the season is over, they're done, the culture is broken, everything is over. That's not what I'm saying either. I just think it's a little asymmetrical in this regard. A win for the 49ers would be like, let's go right now. It's on. You all doubted us. You all said we had a bad draft. You all said Brock Purdy can't do it. Now that we're healthy, now that we're ready to get after it, it doesn't matter if we're in Australia. It doesn't matter if we're in the Bay Area. We've got this. For the Rams, it's more like they're very much in a we're Super Bowl or bust mode. They made very serious moves, they're focused. And I do think a loss would be kind of a whoa, we thought we were just going to run through this year, but we're 0-1. If they win, it'll just be like, yeah, we won. That's good. We expected that. And it's just like, alright, keep moving to next week, we're 1-0, let's go. It's more about business. A loss for them would be a whoa. And a win for the 49ers would be, yeah, we're 1-0, let's do this. And a lot of people would say, well, it was week 1 in Australia. Matthew Stafford is a little older, he's not as resilient to jet lag, or the cabin pressure made his back tight. So a game like this, I sometimes like when games can be a little asymmetrical because they mean different things at different moments. A win can be a bigger deal for one team, and a loss can be a bigger deal for another. I do find it a bit interesting when those types of dynamics are at play. And I think that's what we get. Week 1, first international game right off the top. Australia. So that's week 1. That's Thursday night. So does that mean it's the first game of the season? I'm so confused now. Is this the first game of the season for everyone, or is the first game Wednesday? I don't even know at this point. Everything keeps getting slowly trickled out. That's why I thought Wednesday, September 9th, that's 8:20 Eastern Time, that's Seattle. That's what I thought. Then the next game would be Thursday, which is this game we're talking about. Then do they play Friday? Is there a Friday night game? Because I thought last year it was Thursday and Friday, I thought the Eagles on Thursday played the Cowboys, and that Friday was the game on YouTube which was in Brazil or Mexico, and that was the Chargers and the Chiefs. I thought that's what it was, Thursday, Friday. So I'm a little turned around here. It's kind of crazy because I also feel like the year before that, the Eagles had their game in Brazil against the Packers, and I'm almost positive that was a Friday game as well. And then the Chiefs and the Ravens played on that Thursday. So I don't know, you guys can help me out here. But really interesting stuff. As someone who is obviously making these videos and does post-game content, I really love that these games add a little more intrigue, a little more interest. It's kind of cool when these games are on random days, because it frees up Sunday a bit more, it's not as sandwiched. And when you get more of these prime time, standalone games, there's just more energy, more people watching, more discussion. I think sometimes these games do get a little lost, especially Friday night games, because you're going into the new week and everybody is talking about the other games happening on Sunday. That definitely happened with the Eagles and the Packers since they played on Friday. Nobody really discussed that game because it happened on Friday, then we went into the weekend, then all the games happened on Sunday, and everyone talked about those because they were literally 12 hours prior. So that game kind of got swept under the rug. That's one disadvantage sometimes to these weirdly scheduled games. But I don't think we'll have the problem considering it's the 49ers and the Rams, and there's so much momentum behind those two teams. But yeah, I'm looking at the international slate right now, it's kind of crazy. Ravens and Cowboys in Rio de Janeiro. London, Commanders and Colts, again, I don't know what that game is going to be. Eagles and Jags might be interesting. Texans and Jags definitely increasingly interesting. Steelers and Saints, we'll see. Bengals and Falcons, I don't know. Is Joe Burrow going to be the quarterback? Is Tua going to be the quarterback? Who's actually quarterback in that game? Then in Munich, Lions and Patriots. We'll see what that matchup is. Then 49ers and Vikings, we'll see. That's week 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. And I really have no idea how early those other games are in terms of time, what that ends up being. I know the London ones are always early morning, but I don't know, I guess that's probably all similar time zones within range of each other. I don't know about Madrid. Mexico City, I think, is probably at night, at least it was previously. I don't know, man. Now we've got to keep track of international time zones. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree. Either way, let's get into some discussions, get into some debates, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here. I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.